Hi everyone, welcome back to Motoblade. Today I'm going to install the Kuryakyn Longhorn offset highway pegs on my Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Now they make these pegs for different bikes. It just depends on the highway bar tube size that your particular bike has. For an Indian motorcycle, you're going to want the 1 1/4 inch clamps. For Harley, I believe it's 1.5, but you'll need to check with your specific bike. But Kuryakyn makes them for all different sizes. They come in two colors, chrome and black. Of course, with my bike being blacked out, I went ahead and got the gloss black highway pegs, and they look really sharp on the bike. So I'm going to go over what tools you need and how to install these really nice highway pegs right after the intro. For this installation, you're going to need a couple of tools. First of all, in our box from Kuryakyn are the highway pegs, the instructions, and a small packet of anti-seize. The tools that you will need to complete the installation are a ratchet, a 3/4 inch socket head, a 5/16 hex key, preferably one that fits your ratchet, and a 1/4 inch hex key, also preferably one that fits your ratchet. Additionally, a small flexible measuring tape will be extremely useful, and masking tape. So now let's head over to the bike and we will get these installed. The first thing that you will want to do when installing these highway pegs is to sit on your bike, put your feet out, and determine where it is you'd like them to be. Now, I'm using a flexible measuring tape. I already have a general idea of where I want the mount to be positioned, but I want to measure and make sure I put it in the same location on both sides of the motorcycle. So I'm holding my flexible measuring tape up to the frame of the bike where the highway bar meets it up top, and then bringing it around the outside dimension of the highway bar down to, that looks like 19, right at 19 inches. So right there is where we're going to take a piece of masking tape and mark our location. This spot is where the top of the clamp will be once it's installed. That's the mark I'm going for. Now the first thing you'll need to do with the highway pegs is to take this bolt out, remove the clamp and this decorative trim piece right here. When you take this bolt out, there is a lock washer and then a separation washer inside of the clamp, so make sure you don't drop those or lose those. Lock washer is captured on the bolt, and when you take this clamp out and open it up, there's the washer that goes between these two sides of the clamps. Make sure you hang on to that. Set the clamp aside for a minute. And this decoration piece with the toothed wheel, that matches up with the toothed wheel of the highway peg arm. So we're going to set the highway peg aside. And we're going to start with our clamp. Now the clamp does have a correct and an improper orientation. So there's a pin through the hinge, and one side has a bit of that pin sticking out with a rounded head. The other side is recessed. You want the side with the head protruding, that's your top, you want that facing up. That way water doesn't get in there and stay in there and damage the mechanics of the hinge. Now you want to be fairly precise. You can adjust this, you can move it, but in the process of doing this, you may mark up your highway bar slightly. And I'm not too worried about it because it'll be covered by the clamp once it's all installed. But still, if you can get it right the first time and get it in the exact placement you want without having to move it around, that would be preferable. So now that I have an idea right where I want it, we're going to bring this bolt through from the bike side with the washer. Get that lined up just right. There we go. Bring our decorative piece back over. And then lastly, the highway peg. I would suggest before you put this highway peg on that you tighten up all the little bolts on this piece just to keep it from flopping around on you while you're trying to attach the main arm the first time. So we'll start screwing the bolt in. This is part of the installation where having a second hand or someone to help you out here might be helpful. I'm just gonna have to get that bolt down a little bit tighter and then we'll readjust the clamp. All right. Now we have that clamp finger tight. Go ahead and take our 3/4 inch socket head and our ratchet and tighten it down. This is also where you'll want to adjust the long arm of the highway peg. So make sure you have it canted or positioned however you want at this point. And you will have to tighten this down really tight. I mean, you're gonna have to crank on it, because when I was doing a quick test fitting of this, I thought I had it tight, but then I put my foot on the peg and it was enough to push the peg out and turn the clamp here. So you need to crank down on this when you are putting it on the highway bar if you don't want it to move. I think that's pretty tight. I'm moving the bike at that point. All right, now that you have that arm tight, there are 4 different bolts and 3 different bolts and a screw up here that can be adjusted. The first one that you can adjust using your 1/4 hex key is in the back side of this long arm at the top here. So I'm going to loosen that up. And you can see by loosening that, we can adjust the position of the hinge. So if you want it up here and have this fold up and down flat, not sure why, but if you want it there, you could do that. Or turn it around, have them fold down. Find the position you want and tighten that bolt down securely. The next bolt that you can adjust is here on the top of the hinge. That uses our 5/16 hex key. That's the only one that is a 5/16. By tightening or loosening that, you can adjust the tension with which the hinge operates. So if you want this footrest to move in and out really easily, you can loosen it. If you want it to have a lot more friction, tighten this bolt up. Now that moves a lot harder, but I think by putting pressure on it with my foot, that'll be plenty of tension. On the back side of this footrest, there is a set screw. If you want to change the angle at which the footrest stops, you can adjust that screw out or in. If you adjust this screw out further, then the footrest may only come out to like there or like there. If you take it all the way in, where it is now, you can bring the footrest all the way out to its maximum extension. So that set screw on the back side of this adjusts where the footrest is actually angled within the hinge. Our last bolt is in the end of the footrest. By loosening that up, we can adjust the angle at which the footrest faces us. So if you want the footrest more flat or more vertical, you can adjust that by adjusting the tension of the bolt on the very end of the footrest. So that's going to do it for my video today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It's that big red button down there that says subscribe. Click the bell icon next to it. That'll give you guys notifications when there are new videos to watch right here on MotoBlade. I have a lot of modification videos coming up for the Dark Horse, and hopefully, if this quarantine lets up anytime soon, I will be able to get out and do some more test rides and some more flying videos for you guys. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.